Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be breaking down a recent day on one of my local lakes. I had a 25-pound bag on my best 5 largemouth bass on this day, and I anchored that bag with a giant 8-pound 2-ounce fish. I got on the water at about 9:30 a.m. The water temperature was about 57 degrees when I launched my boat. It ended up being about 60 degrees when I got off the water. In this spot, I'm throwing a jighead minnow at a fish that I see roaming on live scope. I actually pulled this fish out of a tree on the glide bait, but couldn't get it to eat. Three-pounder. That was a nice 3.5 pounder to start the day on a jighead minnow. On this spot here, I stopped here because there's a nice laydown on a rock wall on an outside channel swing, and I thought it might fit the pattern. Well, when I pulled up, I noticed there were quite a few fish in this tree. I think, if I remember, about 7 or 8 fish. I was able to draw out like 4 or 5 of them at a time on this glide bait that I just thrown in there, but I couldn't get them to commit to it. So about halfway back to the boat as I'm drawing these fish back, I just reel in my glide bait. Now as those fish are still floating and not quite tucked back up into that tree yet, they're swimming back, I'm taking this opportunity to pick up my jighead minnow and launch a cast at them to see if I can get one to bite. Nice little bass there. Not going to put that one on the scale. Forgot to turn the camera on, but there's a nice bass. It was sitting on a laydown on a channel swing bank rock wall here. Get a weight on this fish. It's a pretty nice one, about a 3.5 pounder, I'd say. 3.7. I ended up pulling a couple of dinks off of that tree and one nice one, about 3.78. I ran down the lake to the next rock wall and picked a really nice laydown to target. While my main focus was the laydown on this rock wall, I actually saw fish floating off of the laydown, off of the rock wall, kind of suspended in about 10 feet of water. So I pitched my minnow at this one and it bit. Three-and-a-half pounder right there. All right, 344. 334. I'm inching closer to this laydown and I actually bomb a cast with a minnow right in the heart of the tree and get hung up, which is a shame because I saw some nice fish living in that laydown. Luckily, I was able to get my bait out and move on. I made a little move and fished some other stuff for about 45 minutes, but ended right back up on this laydown on this nice rock wall. I knew there was a big one living in it. I saw it on live scope, so I picked up the glide bait to try to get that big bite. First, I'm casting to the outside edges of this tree and the end of the tree, see if I can pick off any fish before getting to the heart of it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, it's giant. He's got one hook. Oh my god. He's got one hook, it's giant. only got one hook. It's a giant. Yeah, baby. That's an 8-pounder. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. On that Fish Everything 7-inch taxi shad. That is an 8-pound stud, baby. Let's go. Look at that fish. 7-inch taxi shad, man. Look at that. Yeah, let's go. Oh, this day is awesome. Could not be happier right now. Oh my God, 8-pounder, 817. Wow. I'm gonna put this one in the live well, go find Victor and get some pictures. He's out here on the water with me. 8-pounder. That's a giant.
All right, what do you got here, bud?
Got an 8-pounder on the taxi shad.
Oh God. Damn, dude.
8 pounds, 2 ounces.
Boom.
After catching that fish, I put it in the live well and met up with a couple of buddies on the water. We waited on another scale, took some pictures, some video, and released it safely back on the same tree I caught it off of. I'm back on another channel swing tree here. This one's sitting a little deeper, but there is a nice school of bass on it. So I pitched that jig head minnow right over them. It's a little too deep for my glide to reach.
Little bass. Little bass.
I made a move to a different section of the lake here where I know there are some shallower laydowns, and that's what the glide bait excels on, is really shallow wood just under the surface of the water. And I know that some of these real big bass have got to be laid up in these trees, soaking up the sun, getting warm.
Yeah, let's go. That's a good one. Boom, hit it right at the poke. That bait. That alewife pattern. That might be a 5. Oh, it's a 5. 5.1. Cool. Fish Everything taxi shad. Man, they're eating it on a super slow retrieve, and this taxi shad almost suspends over top of the wood, and you know, I gotta fish it so slow. Oh, it's 4. 4-pounder. Nice fish. 4-pound bass on that Fish Everything Taxi Shad.
Wrapping up the day, I make one final stop and catch a little one here on a jighead minnow. I ended up having 25 pounds on my best 5 fish with an 8-pound kicker. It was a spectacular day of fall bass fishing. Had a great time out there on the water. My 3 biggest bass all fell for the Fish Everything Taxi Shad 7 and a Matt Alewife finish. That's a bait I have a lot of confidence in, especially in the spring and fall when big bass are on shallow timber. Thanks for tuning into this video. Drop a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss a video.